Welcome to Lars. Um, Thank you for having time to come and talk to us. And I think there's a great subject about innate resilience in teenagers that you're covering today. I think it's right up there with what's going on all around the world with kids and children and young people. In terms of introducing yourself, I'll probably best person to introduce you is yourself. So if that's okay, I'm going to just hand it over to you. Like Lars, we just need to unmute you, sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Ivana. And hi, everybody. So good to see you. Well, my name is Lars Fogtmann. I'm living in Denmark together with my wife and our 5 kids. So something about kids, well, it means a lot to us, of course. Yeah. For my work, I have a business consultant. And we're helping private and public companies. We're helping them with find solutions to troubles and develop them. And we also work in the school system, and that's where our heart is. It's the kids. And one of I work in a lot of different schools here in Denmark, and I work with the teenagers, with the kids, the teachers, and the parents, and the school leaders. Yeah, so that's some different kind of works I'll do at the school. But yeah. The subject here today. I'll have to say, well, as you can hear, English is not my first language. So if there's any words I can't say in English, I'll try to ask Lotte and see if she can help me, or just then bear with me. I hope that's okay. I'll try to do my best. Yeah, good. Well, sometimes when I work with kids, I can see a lot of the kids here, at least here in Denmark. They are stressed. They have anxiety, that they cut themselves, and they have bad behavior. And I don't know if it's all around the world, but at least here in Denmark, people like in 5th grade have anxiety. They cut themselves in the 6th grade, and that's not how it should be. Of course, they should be having a good time and play with each other, have some good friends, and have an easy life. But here in Denmark, as a society, we put more and more down on them. We have higher expectations of them. They have to be straight A's. They have to get an education. They have to get a lot of friends. They have to put a lot of stuff. And as a society here in Denmark, we just put on these kids. Instead, what we were supposed to do, just to put a lot of them instead, so they can find the quietness, and so they can find the listen to the answer they have to for themselves. Instead, too much expectations. I was asking. I was doing a workshop with 8th grade, and asked them, well, how was it to be a teenager? And all of them thought they were very different from each other. But when we went on, everybody said, well, it's just like a roller coaster. The life is like a roller coaster. Sometimes we're up, sometimes we're down. But they also knew every time they were down, they knew, well, we'll get back up. Life have shown them. But something that said they were not allowed to have a low mood for the parents. They want to fix them. And so being a parent, I think, well, that's not good, because we know what, for us parents, we know life is going up and down, and this is just the same for our kids. Yeah, but so I think, well, we have to listen more to our kids, and like be trusted that they have that mind is with them. They have their wisdom. They will know what as a life will take care of them, and we don't have to interfere with that. But often we do, especially as a parent. We want to fix our kids because we don't want them to be sad. We don't want them to hurt or something. So we try to fix them. We try to cheer them up. But what if we just was together with them instead? And just, well, if they're down, okay, they were down. Just let them know, well, we're gonna be here for you. And when if there's anything, you can always come and ask. And then they'll figure out, and then we can help them by talking about how the system works, of course. And then we can help them about just live with the what's the word? Just want them to make sure that, well, even though you have a bad day, there's nothing wrong with you. And that's what I try to tell the kids. They can't break. They can't because they're always perfect. They are always okay. Life go up and down, but it's just like one thought, and then they're okay again. And then they're okay. Yeah. Yeah. And oh, sorry. Yeah. But I think for teenagers, they think they are very different from each other. They think they have a lot of like guilt and shame. Are they like good enough? Oh, sorry, just one more. I just lost it. Oh yeah, well, they just don't think like they fit in, but and they have troubles because they think they have I try to find the word in English. Well, no. When they see something, they think they oh, sorry, I missed it. Yeah, this is too difficult for me in English. I'm sorry. Yeah, I can't find the right words. Oh. Yeah.
Can I help you? Could
Yes,
you tell me in Danish, and then I can try and do my best?
Ja, det jeg vil prøve at fortælle, det er det her med, at de unge, de tror også, de er galt på den, at de andre, de ved det rigtige, altså det de andre ser, det er det rigtige, og det de selv ser, det kan være nogle udfordringer. Og det kan være med til at gøre dem nervøse, det kan være med til at gøre dem bange, gøre dem usikre, og de får alt muligt skade ud fra lave alt muligt skade eller ballade ud fra dem. Men når vi taler om hvordan systemet fungerer, så kan de godt se, Gud, jamen den ene har ikke mere ret end den anden. Altså at de kan se, Gud, jamen vi har bare hver vores oplevelse. Og når vi har hver vores oplevelse, så er der ikke nogen, der har den rigtige eller forkerte oplevelse. Men på den måde er det med til at lette dem og gøre dem glade.
Yes. Should I try and tell? Yes. Can you hear what I'm saying? Yes, I'll just try my best. Yes. What Lars is pointing at is that when he speaks to these teenagers, many of them express that they feel they are different from each other, and they when he talks to them one by one, they tell him that they are insecure because the other ones having a perfect life or having the life is just forming very good for all the others, and they're insecure for their own life. But when he talks to them about how the system is working, they see that the only thing that's different is their experience. The experience of the episodes is different, but they have the same capacity of joy and of having a good life. Was that the thing you tried to point at, Lars?
Yeah, and nobody so yeah, but also something with, well, no one has the truth, and because no one has the truth, then they can see, well, they are all equal. Mm-hmm. Is that the right word? Yeah. And that's calms them down. Yeah. So there'll be more ease. Yeah. And relax. And that, well, it helps them. Yeah. 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 Well, and sometimes as a parent we forget to listen to our kids, because they know, and every action, everything they do in a purpose. It makes sense. It makes sense to them. Yeah. Well, for example, I had one day I was returning from work. It has been a pretty good day. And then I come home. My wife, she has just washed our daughter's clothes and put it in a wardrobe, klædeskab wardrobe. Yeah. And 5 minutes later, I was going in her room, and I could see that every drawer was empty, and all the clothes was in a big pile in the room. And I was asking my daughter, she was 5 years then, well, sweetie, well, I can see all the clothes are on the floor, and how can that be? Well, it was because she was trying to teach her little brother to jump down from a chair. He was 1.5. So, and she said, well, and I don't want him to hurt. So, well, sweetie, that was very good thinking. Yeah. But next time, well, can you please come and tell me, then we'll find something else. But But the thing is here, if I had a bad day at work, I wouldn't have been asking her what she was doing. I might yell at her and say, well, that's not okay, and not even being curious, yeah, why she did what she did. I would just know, well, this was wrong, even though it was good. Her thinking was pretty good at that. And because I had a good day, I ask her. So if we ask our kids more often, if they do something that we don't think they should do, if it don't fit into our values, our way to see life, our way to experience life, if it don't fit into that, well, if we're curious instead, we can teach the kids that we believe in them, that we believe in them, that we believe and have faith in them to know what they were doing was doing because they think it was the right thing to do. And of course, sometimes we can we have to say afterwards, well, this is not a good way. You have to do like this and this instead, of course. But there's also almost every time a good explanation why they did what they did. Yeah. And if we can help them, knowing that they use their wisdom every day, I think we can help building a resilience in them, because they're gonna trust themselves so much more. They know we trust them. Yeah. Yeah. But sometimes if we're caught up, it's just difficult. It's just difficult to do that. Yeah. 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 There was one time I had an argument with one of our kids, our oldest one. He was almost a teenager or starting, so of course he knew how the world should be, and I was not in a good place. So we had. He did something, and I said, well, can you come here right now, because now's the time we have to talk about it. And he was very angry, and I was angry, and he said, well, why can't I go into my room for 5 minutes, and then can we talk afterwards? Then I'm more calm. I said, oh, yeah, well, good idea. Maybe both of us should do that. So they know what to do. They know what's best for them. Sometimes we just caught up. So yeah. So if we just listen to them more, it's it's helping a lot. The way I was talking to one of my other kids one day. We was going to Copenhagen, and I asked him, well, do you know what dad do for a living? And he said, well, not really. And then we was talking about the principal for like 1 hour, something like that. And then he was saying, okay, Dad, I think I got it. He said, okay, well, let me hear. And then he said, well, if I have to climb a pyramid, and I think, oh, it's pretty far up there. The steps are pretty big. It's going to take all day, and yeah, I'm not sure I'm going to make it. If I think that, well, it's going to be difficult for me. And is that true? Oh, yeah, I think it might be, yeah. And then he said, well, if I think, oh, it's going to be so great when I'm standing in the top of the pyramid, maybe how fast can I do it? Can I do it faster than the kid next to him? And he said, well, I think it might be easier. But no matter if I think the pyramid, it's going to be tough, or it's going to be easy, the pyramid is still the same. I said, yes, that's right. The pyramid is always the same. And the kids are always the same. It's just similar to that, I think. When we see the kids, it's our thinking who, okay, are they in trouble, or how does we see them? But the kids are always perfect, just as they are. They cannot break. They can have thoughts just like us, but of course, but they will always be perfect again. And if we can tell our kids that we trust them, we have faith in them, and they are always perfect, I think we can help them. We can help them developing their own wisdom that they need for, yeah. Thank you, Lord. Yeah. It was what was on my mind just for now. Is there any questions or comments? Maybe Ian or Lotte can translate. Yeah.
Well, I first of all want to say thank you, Lars. Speaking in a different language, it can be a challenge sometimes. I do understand that, and I think, gosh, I think you've done really amazingly. So thank you. I love what you shared about children and them always being okay, and us as a parents, how we see them, that changes depends on our moods, and I think that's so helpful to know for me. I've got 3 children, and I can see myself going in and out of moods, approaching them each day, and there were times when they're playing up and it's like a water off my back. It's a saying in English, it doesn't even touch me, and I can be present and just with them, let them go through their own storm. And then the other times I'll be tired myself for whatever reason, my mood is lower, and I have no patience to even entertain their tantrum in any way at all. What has been really helpful for me to come across principles to understand the nature of that ebb and flow of going in and out of my own moods, to not put any meaning to that, where before I used to spend a lot of time in guilty space of when I would kind of, let's say, maybe not treated them the way I would have liked to, perhaps. Now it doesn't hold on so much, because it kind of, okay, well, I was also in a low mood, just as they have been and stuff. So and equally, I'm, apart from being a lot more forgiving to myself, equally I am to my children. I can just see what's going on for them too, and it's just such a lovely reminder that it's okay. It's okay. Yes. Yeah. Has anybody else got any comments or questions? We have had couple of people. So Jessie said, Lars, I have found the same things, and Judy, I think of this as how we compare our inside to other people. So that's when you talked about teenagers comparing themselves and thinking that somebody else has got a better deal and they're better in any way. So she said, I think of this as how we compare our insides to other people's outsides, and then feel less than because everyone looks more self-confident and together than we feel. If anybody's got a question, can give us a wave or mute yourself. Natalie, please, unmuting you.
No, great job, Lars. Loved everything you said. I'd just love to hear a little bit more about what sort of results you're getting in the schools with the children, teachers, parents you're working with.
The teachers, if we start with them, they are more eased. They for the teachers, there are 2 steps. One of them, one of the schools I was working with, it was only the teachers from the middle age, and by the year when they do trivselsundersøgelse,
like a trial, a survey, well-being survey.
Okay, yeah.
In the middle school.
Yeah, we could see that for those teachers who has been on that program, it was raising, and for the other teachers, it was just like status quo. Yeah, so they have better well-being, and the other part of it is like they see the kids differently now. They see them, even though there are some kids who can make some noise in the class. They look at them with more love and caring. No, so the relationships between the teacher and the kids have been improved.
Yeah.
Improved? Yeah. And yeah, they're just more relaxed together, and they find better solutions now than they did before. The kids I've been working with, well, they are much more eased now, because they can see, well, I don't have the right. I don't. If I have an argue with somebody, well, it could get into a fight, and they could bully each other and stuff like that. But they say, well, no, now we're just more curious. Nysgerrig, are they curious? Yeah, curious at each other, because we know we see things differently. So we're more curious about, okay, so what's going on? What do you see? Oh, okay. And so it's gonna be, there are not so many fights.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they don't also Lotte, tolke.
Like translate or
Yeah, well, okay, well,
no, okay.
Before they could see, if they saw some of the friends standing in a corner talking and they looking at one, then they
decode
could see,
to decode the other ones.
Yeah, they try to do that a lot, but now they know, well, we don't have to, because, well, we don't know if they were talking about me or if they were talking about anything else. So, well, we just let it be. If there's something, well, they'll probably come and tell me something. Yeah. So for them, it's easier, and we also talked a lot about listening to themselves. Well, because they are right. So we talk about that, but I can't see the result yet about how they are listening more to mind. Yeah, and the parents. When I talk to the parents, is like a lecture, telling them what we're doing with the kids, and try to point them in direction to be more curious of the kids, and tell them how the system works. And for some of the parents, it was aha. It was a aha moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So oh, that's what's going on with them and with the kids and the relation. So it has been good there. What was that, an answer?
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of one of the schools I've been working at, I didn't work with that group of kids, only with the teachers, but she wants to try to do a program now. And I asked, well, do you want me to join in? No, but we want to do it ourselves now. But we want you as a, what is that? Like a helpline. Yeah, and maybe I could just come and supervise her and give her some feedback, what's going on in the class. But yeah, so that's pretty cool. They just want to do it themselves now. Yeah.
I wouldn't mind adding into that, because I really like that you brought up the idea of curiosity, because I think that's one of the biggest gifts we can have in the classroom, is to bring that idea of curiosity of, you know, why things are happening a certain way. I worked with one classroom, and there was a lot of going on, and the teacher actually stopped doing academic lessons and just focused on social emotional topics. And I was coming in once a week for that particular class, and it got to a point where we actually had to have a conversation with this in a circle with the teacher, because they were not focused and they weren't able to sit quietly in their chairs. And it was so amazing how these kids came up with a solution, and it was a solution that the teacher could also agree to, and they actually worked really well together, and it was something that stuck for the rest of their school year. And it was because the teacher stayed curious enough, and actually the kids did too at that point, to find something, a solution that was not in the mainstream, that just came out of the blue for them. And it's like, oh, this works. So yeah, that's and it actually led to a full school project that they created, that just came out of, you know, their minds about, oh, let's do something like this. So it was pretty powerful.
Yeah. One of I remember once I was starting in the school, in one of the schools, I was talking about the principles and that, and then a question I was asked many times: what do I do when I have one kid in the class who just shouts or make a lot of noise? And yeah, so can you tell me what can I do there? And well, I said, well, there's no quick fix. And there's no magic, but the problem is if we only see the trouble they're making and not see the resources the kid have, the potential, then we're looking the wrong direction. Then we're not gonna we're not Lotte, at vi skal at så får vi det ikke droslet ned. Altså, så får vi det ikke. Well, then we're not gonna make it better. Then we're only gonna make it worse. Yeah. So and well, if we can talk to mind in them, talk with love to them, then love will find the way. Maybe not in that particular class or hour, but maybe next time or the third time, and it will just get better and better. And actually, it worked on the class. Yeah. So they try to do it. Sometimes they say, well, today was just too much, and they were just shouting at them. But okay, well, you did your best. Yeah. But there's no magic. There's just, well, love the kids, and it will turn out good. Yeah. Anybody else?
I think of, magic is an interesting concept, because we have to go into the unknown around that to find the magic. It's like I have no idea how to connect with this child. I don't know how to tap into that resources that they have yet. You know, and just knowing that as a teacher, I'm not there yet, but I'm planting seeds, and eventually, you know, something will flourish. You know, knowing that, having that belief, I think is really important. I remember working with a grade 2 teacher, and her philosophy or her way of looking at her children were that they were already little leaders in their own right. And so regardless of their behavior, she knew they were a leader. And I just love that idea that even at that age, she saw something in all of them. And her job for the year was to draw that out. So.
Yeah. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I think I kind of want to add is, you know, we sort of talk, you know, having a belief in children seeing what they've got. It's and I think that in itself comes through understanding how we work as well. It's kind of when you have an insight, see how we create our experience moment to moment, right? And see that every other human being on this planet does exactly the same. Then that kind of that belief comes through that. It's not like, oh, you believe me, this is the way it works. You know, I don't, you know, kind of, that's not what we're saying, isn't it? It's kind of, you know, when you get an insight that everybody works in the same way, that we, you know, have our own thoughts that create a picture of our own experience, and everybody else does. You know, and then we've got this, I suppose, access to, you know, to this love and to kind of to guide us moment to moment, and sort of gives us everything that we need. You know, you can kind of relax into it. You can relax and trust that, you know, whether you're a child or a teacher or whoever else you come across has the same. And just, I think just makes it easier, right? Yeah. That's how I see it, because I kind of, you know, quite often people talk about, you know, believe in your kids, believe in it. And I'm like, well, before I knew about this, like, it just was something that I had to learn to believe. But getting an insight into how we create experience, it became, well, gosh, this is just the way it works. It wasn't like I had to learn to believe something. It just became, I suppose, you know, well, there's no other way to see it necessarily. And, you know, I started to get a greater understanding how we ebb and flow out of our moods, and as do the children. And I could see I suppose that knowing of what to do in the moment coming through children as well, you know, where before I thought I had to teach them those things, right? You know, it looked to me like I had to teach them how to behave, how to do this. And now I said, no, you know it. So very often now, I said, you know, when I'm not maybe happy so much about, you know, the way maybe they behave and stuff, you know, it's not just like in me saying, oh, I don't want you to, you know, this, not like, you know, is this right? You got your own guide, so I don't need to tell you. So, and it was like quite often they go, oh, you know, like, and you can see the little girl like, oh, I do know. And then today, one of my boys was getting almost cross a little bit with him, because he was like, I mean, gosh, I can hear this voice telling me kind of, yeah, you do know, don't you? And he didn't want to like let it in. It was just so cute. But it gave me a chance to just kind of sit with him through it, and said, you know, just, yeah. And then as he quietened down, he was able to talk to me about, said, this voice. I said, well, what is it? What are you talking about? And he started to sort of be able to, you know, use words to sort of explain what was going on for him, and what he was sort of seeing. He didn't like something, you know, and how he was having a little fight with it almost. But he kind of knew what's right or wrong to do, sort of thing. He could hear the guide, you know, within him telling him But he still had a little fight with it, which was very cute. I said, I said, I do too. I fight too sometimes. Oops. Hold on, we've got Gavin. Let me just mute him. Okay. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think when we start exploring the inner world of kids, it really helps them move through things a lot easier. I had experience with my daughter who had something, and it was like a nosedive into a deep, dark mood. And the beauty of that was that she saw it for what it was, and she didn't get caught up in it. It was kind of like nurturing it in a way until it passed, It was just so lovely to watch how she moved through it. It was like she was in tears, and that she just knew that it was time for some self-care and whatever came to mind for her. But it was really neat to see that she understands enough of the principles to be able to help herself when she's in that state of mind. So yeah. Another little example of just what you were saying about the younger kids. There was a tape, Jack Pransky, his friend Amy, he wrote a book with her, and she works with preschool kids and kindergarten kids. And on the video, there's this little girl that she's talking about monsters under her bed. And, she was really serious about these monsters. And all of a sudden, the facilitator started asking her questions about these monsters, about what color they were and what shapes they were. And you could see her little mind seeing that, oh, they don't have to look ugly and mean. They can be different colors and different shapes. And it was just so neat to see that transition in her mind, just going, oh. Yeah.
Hey, it's Jessie Lynn speaking. Sorry, I've had to switch to phone because I'm picking my son up from school. But one of the things that I found, Lars, I thought this was phenomenal, and I've had very similar experiences, is in the classroom, I went into a classroom, the teacher had asked me to go in because the kids weren't connecting with each other. And I spent some time with the teacher first on the connection, and we did up a classroom contract. And then we talked about thoughts and feelings and where your feelings are coming from. And then I went back a couple of weeks later. I took examples that they had given me of struggles they're having. And I went back and one of the things that was really helpful for me in working with kids is, how could you flip this? How could you flip the ending of it based on what you know now? And that really seemed to work with them. I don't know if you can hear me or not.
Yes, we can hear you, Lynn. Lars,
okay.
Do you want to add to that?
Can you?
Yeah, I'm muting you now, yeah.
Oh, well, I didn't get the last part of it.
Oh, one of the situations.
Yeah.
Oh, just was with flipping it. So if they were caught up in a struggle of some sort, or with their friends on the playground, one of the examples. So I gave them an example of how one day I got caught up in my thoughts and how I had to flip the situation and how the ending came out really different after I did. So we worked together as a group and they identified how they could flip the situation, knowing where their feelings were coming from. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was super helpful.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I would see when they see how the system works and they see how different we see things, it can just
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. So
it just helps them, and
yeah.
And also sometimes we just have to give them a little time, then they'll find some great solutions, because mind will come through. And
absolutely.
And when we talk to them about mind, and we talk to them those times they have listened to mine, what the results were and how they feel about it, and they can they can see they have that same wisdom as we have. Yeah, so
definitely.
every time they can recognize it, well, it's just gonna help them even more. So yeah.
So I'm going to mute again because I'm in a noisy area, but I just wanted to say thank you. That was really enjoyable.
Okay, thank you, Jess. Yeah. Anyone else has something?
I think everybody's gone quiet. Bathing in a quiet, which is lovely. Which is lovely. Well, I think it's been really exciting. It's been lovely to hear Lars talk, and it's nice to see so many people from so many different countries. It's amazing. We got US, Canada, Denmark, UK, Holland. I haven't missed any others. Yeah.
So I just want to say, I'm not sure if everyone here is a mentor with the WOW project, but we would like to invite you to be a part of that if you're working with kids or you have an interest in working with children from the principal's perspective. We really want to grow our community and create that web around the world of the principals and those that are reaching kids. And part of it is being in our Facebook group and having conversation with others that are doing the work, as well as if you want to be on our map that's on their website, it's sharing a project that you've done with kids and send it to us, and then we would add you to our map to be a part of that. So we really want to grow this out. So if you know of anybody who is doing some of the work and are not a mentor yet, please invite them to join you in building out this community. That would be wonderful.
Yeah. Thank you, Quinn. I did miss Judy has said from New Zealand. Wow, we have certainly been joined by people from literally around the world. And I think there's so much amazing work being done around the world from three principles inside out, understanding with children and young people. And it's clearly having a massive impact on their well-being and seeing their well-being in them, isn't it? It's recognizing it and seeing where it sits. So we just, like Quinn says, come and join us and help us sort of, bring it to the upfront as in the mainstream in education, and that'd be just absolute dream for children to be kind of taught this, in their classrooms.
Mm-hmm. We have our WOW Day in October, the first week of October. So we'll probably have some other things coming down the pipes. Our local contest, we'll have our winner shortly, which is very exciting. We had 100 entries from 4 countries. So there's been a lot happening, and what we've accomplished in a year with everybody who's joining us has been absolutely amazing. So we just want to continue growing and sharing and as Ivana says, put it on the front page of the news. That would be every local key newspaper. WOW project, that'd be cool.
Really cool. Yeah. Well, Lars, thank you for your time and for doing this talk tonight. And we also want to thank everybody else for coming and joining us. Really appreciate. We're going to post the recording of it on our website, and please do share it. Share it around with people that might be of interest. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. Do I know how to unmute all? So you can all give us a little wave. Oh, Joe, he's saying.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks a lot.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.